Hi there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckbuilder.com here with a special edition. This is a video series that Tutor's Library and myself are going to undertake. Big shout out to Tutor's Library because he is the one with the idea for this. And this was actually a video series that I wanted to do a long time ago, but just really didn't have a player on the other end that could take videos and was a great commentator, and we could actually get something special done with this. So this is going to be what we're going to call standard versus standard. So it's going to go back from, I don't know how long we're going to go back. We're going to take the Pro Tour winning decks of standard seasons and then pit them against each other. So for this week, what we're going to do is we're going to put the Pro Tour winning deck of Khans of Tarkir. That means all of the Theros block and Khans of Tarkir were Khans of Tarkir itself. No Dragons of Tarkir or the Fate Reforged was legal quite yet. Versus the winner of the Pro Tour Theros, which was the list you see before you, which is the mono blue. Which was, I think Jeremy Dezani was the Pro Tour winner of that time. And it was Mono Blue Devotion. And again, Theros was legal, but there were no cards past Theros. So it was all the Return to Ravnica block and Theros. So this is the deck before you. I've made a little bit of the changes because I really don't think that the deck was as tuned as it could have been. The deck continued to evolve. Again, the format's only out for about a couple weeks on MTGO, and MTGO is really the place where the fine-tuning happens. You just have so many collective players playing it at the same time, and you start to get more of a fine-tuned deck list. Now, the original one ran the Omen Speaker, I believe, two of Omen Speaker, and I thought that the card was absolute garbage in the deck. I mean, it got cut pretty quickly, and they started replacing it with main-boarded rapid hybridizations and cards like that. And it did run, the deck list was very similar to what you see before you, though. So the only changes that I made is I added one more Mutavault. I think Mutavault was one of the best cards in the deck. One more Bident Thassa, and then a mainboard rapid hybridization, and then took out two Omen Speakers, and I can't remember the other card I cut out. But there was one Bident Thassa, two Scionic Glyphs. I think that's, we added a land, and I dropped one other card. I think he might have been running like 3 Jace Architect. No, he wasn't running 3 Jace Architected Thoughts. It was two Omen Speakers, but I can't remember exactly what the last one. Maybe there was a Rapid Hybridization main board, and so the only two additions I had is another Bident and another Mutavault. Because this is the way that the Mono Blue Devotion deck started competing with the Control list and the Mono Black, is they relied on Bident Thassa and Mutavault fight by drawing those extra cards to keep them in against the massive board wipes of after the fact when Bile Blight and Drown in Sorrow came in the format. So again, I've tuned it, and I did cut, I believe, an island for Nykthos Shrine and Nyx, because Nykthos Shrine and Nyx is just completely insane with both Cyclonic Rift and Thassa God of the Sea. But we still do have the powerhouse of the deck. The whole reason to go Mono Blue Devotion was the Master of Waves and the Thassa God of the Sea. And then Tidebinder Mage really preyed on those Mono Green Devotion lists when the format was brand new. I think the metagame was like something like 35% Mono Green Devotion, and that's how this deck did so well at the Pro Tour. It just continued to eat up those red decks and those Mono Green Devotion decks, which were very popular at the time. And Mono Black at the time was not yet a real established thing. There was a few people running it, not too many. But anywho, so I know he's going to be on the Abzan control list that won the Pro Tour Khans of Tarkir. So Tidebinder Mage is going to be very good, and we do have an all-around good strategy against the deck. So what we have is in the sideboard, he had 3 Wall of Frost. I don't know how well. These have been cards that have been taken out, I believe, for domestication is what the sideboard cards started to run. Domestication or the Claustrophobia, and Wall of Frost were just completely eradicated. Aetherlings did stay a staple throughout the time, and we do have, I think Aetherling will be pretty decent versus the Abzan Midrange deck, as he will not be able to get rid of it. It blocks Siege Rhinos, it kills Elspeths. Great card. I did add some more rapid hybridizations. I didn't want to buy 2 more Jaces. These are running at 7 tickets apiece. So I just wanted the 2 main board ones, and I decided not to buy. But you would want 2 more Jace Architect Thoughts in the sideboard. I don't know if the Abzan, if you'd really want more than 2 against Abzan, as it's an okay card, but it is a card that just gets completely slaughtered by Siege Rhino. And yeah, I just don't think that Jace is the greatest card. So I did put actually 3 rapid hybridizations. I don't think the deck ever wants 3. Again, it's cards like Domestications that were added later on. It did have a 1 of Triton Tactics. That was good against the mono red list at the time, and it has since been cut. I think by the time this deck got fine-tuned, Triton Tactics were completely gone as well, and you did just run into like a Domestication / Jace Architect of Thought heavy sideboard. I think they actually started to run either Dispels. I think Dispels started to get put in the sideboard, which is counter an instant spell unless you pay 1, I believe. And they did start to put in Dissolves in the sideboard. But this does have a Needle, which will be good against the Abzan because they do run Elspeth. And Ratchet Bombs were just good against a lot of the boss Sly decks type. It was like Red Deck Wins the very first was a very hyper-aggressive strategy right when the format came out, and Ratchet Bomb was very good against that as well. So anyway, going to be running Mono Blue versus Abzan Midrange for this week's Standard versus Standard. Hope it's a video series that you guys will enjoy. We're going to go clear back in time and pit a lot of these Pro Tour decks against each other to see what was the most powerful Standard format. Right now, I think that Khans of Tarkir and Theros formats were pretty even. We have had a power dump in the past, I would say like 5 standards. From Zendikar on, I'd even say from Shards of Lara on, has been a consistent power dump. And what I mean by that is the power level of the standards have gone significantly down. I would say that this one is just slightly weaker. Khans of Tarkir is just slightly weaker than the Theros standard because Return to Ravnica was extremely powerful with Supreme Verdict, Abrupt Decay, Desecration Demons, Pack Rats, Mutavaults. All those cards are a lot more powerful than what Khans has offered us so far. And Theros block is pretty much on par with Khans, and it's a wipe because Theros is included in both of these standards. And then if you go even back further than that, I am thinking that Scars of Mirrodin and Return to Ravnica is much more powerful than, or excuse me, Innistrad and Return to Ravnica was much more powerful than Ravnica Theros. And then if you go back further, Scars of Mirrodin and Innistrad was more powerful than Innistrad Return to Ravnica. So again, we've had this consistent power dump, and I think you'll see that as time goes on. But we're going to test it. We're not just going to theory craft here. We're actually going to test these decks. And maybe we might get into some non-Pro Tour, maybe the format-defining deck. I would say Mono Black was the best deck throughout the entire season. Maybe we'll showcase some of those. Anyway, this has been with Kevin with RogueDeckbuilder.com. Make sure you to subscribe to Tutor's Library. I'll have the links in the description to see his end of the gameplay. So on my end, you will see the Mono Blue. On his end, you'll see the Abzan Midrange. And you can see both of us probably making horrible play mistakes and whatnot, as I'm not the best Mono Blue pilot ever. I know that this deck did require a lot of decision-making and ways to at least get around the control matchups, which I know is what I'll be playing. Kevin with RogueDeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.